Thanks for your support as a channel member, Michael McCloskey. Or MC Klosky. We never... Michael, you got to let me know. We get this every month. After all of the shenanigans of cup competitions over the last few episodes, today we have the opportunity to book a spot in a final. The big one. The competition we've dreamed about all season. One win in this match and we could find ourselves in the final of the United Counties League Cup. It's the thing dreams are made of. Hello and welcome to part 13 of the Bourne Legacy. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have a game in the league against Northampton on Chenecks, because I love the name of their club. I don't know why someone said in the comments, why is the ON capitalised? Nobody knows. Does it stand for something? Should we click on it and find out? Nobody knows why it's capitalised. Do we not get how do you get the story of their history that might give it a little bit more detail? It's probably not important. It might be to them, but it's not to us. And we're also playing against Eynesbury in the United Counties League Cup semi-final. I assume the final was at Wembley because it's such a prestigious competition, but I guess we'll find out if and when we get there. Since you were last with me, this is what the form has looked like in the league, by and large in pretty decent form. We did struggle for a couple of matches post Conor Carty, who is now loving life in Ireland and all that money is getting paid to be there. So it took us a little while to figure out how to score goals again. But as you can see, Fidel O'Rourke has slowly but surely started to knock them in, as has Marcus Day. He's been doing that all along. And we have made, you can see I tried to get Carty back on loan. And they accepted the offer. Carty himself, not having any of it, the monster. But we have brought in a few new players again as part of my post-Carty departure panicking. Quite a few of them. Yasin Belanmani. I don't know why I've signed him, so I've not played him. We might need to move him on. Paul Mullin is a striker who he was going to be my Carty replacement. He got into the team and then got injured on his debut. Normally I would release someone in those circumstances, but for now I'm keeping him around, mainly because he's a natural pressing forward, and I think that would be the perfect thing to have alongside Day. He is fit again in 3 weeks' time, so hopefully before the end of the season we get to see Mullin and Day together. O'Rourke might have forced his way into the team as regular starter by then. Who knows? David Worrell. I know I don't sign too many old men anymore, but here's one of them. He is only 30, to be fair to him, and was playing in League Two last season. Played almost every game. Nowhere near almost every game, but 30 games in League Two last year. Only 30 years old. That seems like the kind of player that if he becomes available, you bring him in. So that's exactly what I did. Sam Hart is a left back who is previously off of Blackburn, played in the Championship last season, was on loan in League One the season before. Again, bit of a no-brainer bringing these likes of players in. Neil Dan's a little bit silly because he's 38, but I've heard of him, so wanted to bring him in. Still a 3.5-star player, and again, was playing in League One last season. 32 games in League One for Tranmere last season. Who cares if he's 38? He's played over 500 games, all in the Football League in his career. So let's get some games out of him at this level. Also not played him yet. And Joel Senior is a right back who's not very good, and we'll probably move him on sooner rather than later. We are still within wage budgets. Club finance is still looking good, so I can sign silly players if I want to. Some people have asked if the reason I'm able to get these silly players is because I've messed around with the club reputation too much. So just to confirm, we are on an obscure reputation. When I was setting the save up, I did adjust the reputation of Bourne because at the start of the save, when you load up the database, they are the lowest reputation team in the league. And I thought that's not how it would be if a big player like Mick Powell comes in and takes over. So I bumped the reputation a little bit, but only to make the mid-table in the division below the one we're in at the moment. So we're about halfway up all the reputations in that league. So we weren't even in the top third of reputations in the league below last year. So it's not that I filled a reputation. I think it just is a case of, because of the reputation rating being, I don't know, is it out of 100 or something, or 200? I forget where it is, but because the game is, we've talked about this before, because the game is built around stopping at the National League North and South, they're designed to be the bottom. So for ratings that are out of 20, you get your 1s and 2s in the National League North and South. So when you then go 5 or 6 leagues below that, there's nowhere further to go. So although you're further down the pyramid, the actual quality of the players is the same as it is higher up, which is why it's so easy to race through these leagues. That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. This is the team that we're playing against Northampton on Chenecks today. So we've got Barnes in goal, a back four. Why is Ellis not happy? Oh, he wants to be a stopper. I don't want him to be a stopper. We've already got Platt being a stopper. And we've got Barnes in goal, a back four of Hart, Ellis, Platt and Pearson, Rose and Davis in midfield, Tier and Worrell as our wingers, with Day and O'Rourke up front. Poor old Marcus Day still having to play as the pressing forward with a poacher alongside him, and all he wants to be is the poacher. But the problem he's got is he's been playing so well as that pressing forward over the course of the season. You saw his heroic performances in that role in the FA Cup run. So the fact he's proven he can play there. So until there's no reason for me to... I'm not going to force O'Rourke to play out of position when O'Rourke has taken longer than most strikers we've signed to actually start scoring some goals in his natural position. The likes of Day and Carty and Matter and all these, Morris, the players who've come before them, they all started scoring goals straight away. O'Rourke took a few games, but is finally there. So on the basis of that, I'm not going to fiddle with him and play him out of position. If he's going to score goals as a poacher and Day's going to continue to score goals as a pressing forward, we'll continue to play him there. And we might one day see the best of Marcus Day when Mullin is ready to play as a pressing forward alongside him. We shall see. It's 0-0, 30 minutes in. The league table. Did I show you the league table before? Let's just move that down a little bit so we can see it. We'll look at it after this highlight. It's Day receiving the ball from O'Rourke, trying to get a shot off, can't quite do so, but it falls to Pearson, who's pushed very far forward as the right back. Cross comes in, O'Rourke is there, and it's offside. O'Rourke with it. I mean, it's a useful finish, but it does start the move just a smidgen offside. Let's actually have a look at that from the other angle, because he didn't feel hugely offside. It felt like he was running from behind, but in fact, both of our strikers well offside there. So this is what the league table looks like. 32 games gone. Remember, there's only 21 teams in this division. So it's a 40-game season. So we've got 8 games left after this one. We're currently 9 points clear of Blackstones. It looks like there's only one team that gets promoted from this league, which does feel a little bit harsh on Blackstones, who obviously came up with us last year, have pushed us as hard as they can again this year. And I would love for them to follow us through the leagues. I want them to come with us. But if we're going to hit bottlenecks where only one team gets promoted, and I don't think this is the only time we hit a bottleneck like that, it's going to be difficult for them to keep up with us if we're going to get promoted every year, and they're going to have to wait while we get promoted and then try and catch us up afterwards. There is O'Rourke, though. 7th goal of the season for him. It was a cross coming in from Pearson. We'd been threatening it all game long. We'd created a lot of chances, already had a lot of shots, and eventually got the ball out wide. O'Rourke started this move very wide, actually, and in his positioning, he's come right in there to apply the finish. It was a lot of quality football from Fidel O'Rourke. Puts us 1-0 up, and that pushes that gap above Blackstones back out to 11 points. Look at the difference in goal difference. I know I'm talking as if we're just going to keep getting promoted year after year. I genuinely don't see how we won't if we continue playing as well as we are. Vukoji's going to come on for Day. He's an odd one. He can play anywhere in these attacking positions. He is starting to play more and more games, and he's a youngster who is going to get better. So he's a little bit in a different mould from what we've been bringing in, but I'm looking forward to seeing more of him. And there's Neil Dans finally coming on to make his debut. In fact, I'm just going to bring him on for Rose, if that's where he wants to play. Both Rose and Dans are old. Archie Davis, young and energetic, so he can stay on running around. Clark, I want to get on as well. Clark probably feels a little bit hard done by to not be in the team at the moment, because he'd had a cracking season playing out of position on the wing, and then our right back left, but I signed another one over the top of Clark, so he couldn't drop back to his own position then. And then we've signed David Worrell off of the Football League to play in his position. Tier would like to come off, but we don't have anyone who can go out on that left-hand side, so I'm just going to take off Pearson and bring Clark on for him, just to give Clark a little bit of game time, because I think he does deserve it. Give him a little bit of game time playing as right back, and try and give him the opportunity to force himself into the team as a right back, because with Worrell now at the club, and presumably not under much danger of leaving, because he's been sat there out of contract for 6 or 7 months. So it's not like he was in big demand. He's the sort of player who we could keep around for 2 or 3 seasons. So Clark isn't getting back in the team on the right-hand side. Certainly not in attack. So he needs to remind everyone that he is actually a right back and get into the team there. They pushed us a little bit too close for comfort there. We've got away with it a little bit, but I'm a little bit concerned that we're not steamrolling teams anymore. I enjoyed steamrolling teams. Yeah, that was a bit of a let-off. We need to play better than that in this game against Eynesbury Rovers if we are going to get into the big one, the final that we've all been waiting for. Just the one change for the big semi-final, then Clark does come in at right back because the more I think about it, the more I think I'm being unfair on him by taking him out of the team. That kind of form, playing out of position all that time, he deserves to be in the side. So he comes in with Pearson dropping down to right back. I mean, Pearson, he's an old man, 28 years old, basically a granddad. So Clark gets into the team and he'll stay there unless he's really, really poor today. Eynesbury, I haven't even looked to see where they are in the league. So I'm assuming the United Counties League Cup is just people in this league and the one we were in last year, the one below. So I would like to think that as the best team in the league that we're in, we should be in a very, very good shot of making it through to the final. There wasn't... Oh, Tear's already picked up an injury. A tight hamstring. If we got anybody who can go out on that left wing, not Vukoji, I guess, can. We're going to keep an eye on Tear. We're going to keep an eye on whether his condition is going up or down, because that will tell us whether or not it's a proper injury or one of those little... Oh, he's got a little bit of a knock, but he can run it off. And I don't want to make my main attacking substitution 20 minutes into the game. We might need to bring Vukoji on to play up front later on in the match. And I'd rather have an injured winger than just the one striker. One striker seems hideous in a semi-final. I can't think of many things worse than that. Right. We are under the cosh a little bit here, though. We've not defended that very well at all, letting the ball bounce in our penalty area. Inexcusable, but Hart is charging clear down his left-hand side, plays the ball over the top for O'Rourke to chase. He's got Day to the side of him, but he doesn't need him. O'Rourke is emerging as the new hero in the absence of Connor Carty. We've got a conveyor belt going, boys and girls. We're always getting... It was Matter, then it was Carty, and now it's O'Rourke, and that is a lovely, lovely finish. From a one-on-one as well. Take note, everybody. Still possible to score one-on-ones. Tear's fitness is dropping, so I'm going to take him off in a minute. He doesn't seem to be running it off. Taylor with the effort from the corner, but it goes wide. So we are going to take Tear off. We're going to bring Vukoji on to play on that left-hand side. It's the advantage of having it. It's one of the reasons why he's always on the bench. He's not the best player in any of his positions, but the fact that he can play anywhere in the front four, he can play in central midfield as well at a push. He's just a very useful player to have around, and he doesn't seem to play poorly in any of these positions. He's not a world beater yet, but he's still very young, and he has a huge amount of potential. Davis with the cross to Vukoji, whose name I'm probably saying wrong, but let's face it, he's unlikely to be here long enough for me to need to learn to say his name right. And that's how we do things here at Bourne, the revolving door policy. I've probably already signed more players in this series than I have in the whole of Non-League Legends so far. Day is in here, though. He's got O'Rourke as an option ahead of it, to the side of him. It's an absolutely beautiful finish from Day, but it's been disallowed for offside. It feels unfair. When you score from that tight an angle, just forget the offside. Don't worry about it. It's so tight as well. So close. And then the actual run, he does start from behind their player. I know I'm criticising that particular kind of offside a lot in recent videos, but it just feels a little bit harsh. I want to go back to the days where linesmen can make mistakes in situations like that. We don't seem to get that very much anymore. But O'Rourke is in here, probably offside, but he's not, and it's another absolutely brilliant finish from O'Rourke. 9th goal of the season now for him. The majority of those goals have come in the last month or so since Carty's departure and O'Rourke finding his feet as the poacher in this team. And what I was saying in the last match about Day playing well as a pressing forward, the danger Day has got now is when Mullin is fit, I might drop Day because O'Rourke's playing so well, and Day probably is the better of the two. But O'Rourke's the man in possession now and scoring all the goals. And it's 3-0 just before half-time. Ellis will probably want to claim that goal because he was very much involved in it. We'll look at it from the other angle. Rose with the in-swinging corner. Ellis is there. And I guess from the initial shot from Ellis, it probably was going wide. So I understand why it's gone down as an own goal, but I think in reality Ellis probably claims that. Rose now looking to get a break going again. Can we grab a fourth before half-time? Plays it to O'Rourke. Fukoji is on the overlap. We've got men lining up in the middle to tuck this away. If the cross comes over, it falls to Davis. He does tuck it away, and it's his first goal for the club, and it's 4-0 to Bourne just before half-time. We're going to Wembley. Probably not Wembley. We're going to Wembley in the United Counties League Cup final. It'll probably be at London Road, at Posh's ground. That would be awesome if it is. I'd love that. Or it might just be a home and away affair. I don't really know how it works. Right. Yeah, don't let performances drop. I mean, they're probably not going to. We're 4-0 up. And the other team are playing awfully. But, you know, you got to be careful. It's a major semi-final. This is our first opportunity to win a cup competition. Obviously, we already have some silverware from winning the league last year. But we want to start filling out that trophy cabinet with something other than just league titles. When you have the pre-season squad picture, we want 2 trophies in that picture. Although to be fair, we probably won't bother doing the picture at all because most of the players that are in it will be gone by November. But you know, you have to give the local kids something to stick on their bedroom wall, and I assume there's a buzz building locally about Bourne. That one fella has travelled here again. One of the players has brought his girlfriend with him or his dad. I can't believe there's only 89 people here for this match. That's pathetic in itself. But for us to only bring one fan, and we're 5-0 up now, and David Worrell's wondering where it all went wrong for him. He was playing in the league this time last year, and now he's playing in front of 89 people. Poor lad. I mean, I almost think in his situation, you should probably just retire. Perhaps in his head he has retired. Perhaps he must have gone and got himself a proper job because you can't support yourself playing for us. So he's gone and got himself a proper job. He considers this his retirement, and that's why he's come to play for us. It's just a little bit of a hobby, something to do on a Saturday afternoon, and he's having a lovely time doing it. And Day is in here, and I tell you what, he's scored a couple of goals like that already this season, where he's hit the ball so hard the keeper saved it, but it still sort of bounced into the back of the net. It's a goal you don't see a lot in Football Manager, but Day does seem to do it more than most, and he almost did it again there. We're going to bring Benson on in midfield for Davis, and we've also brought Pearson on at right back. Clark not having the best game on the pitch. I mean, to be fair, he got a 7.5. It's not a poor performance by any stretch of the imagination, but when you're surrounded by players who are in the 8s and 9s, you have to question whether you could have had an even more effective player out there. And the Eynesbury players are all uninterested. Bless their cotton socks. I don't blame them. They have got a very late goal, but I mean, is he even bothered about it? Look, he's got hold of the ball, running back to the centre circle, as if, we better hurry up and kick off, see if we can score the other 5 that we need. You're not going to score the other 5, lads. You may as well just go home. We're ready to go and get on the bus. I don't know how far away Eynesbury is from Bourne, but, you know, it's a school night. We've all got work in the morning. We're ready to head home. Can you stop scoring goals and delaying things? Because it's still not going to make a difference. 2 minutes left. You're still not going to score enough goals. If they do, they deserve their spot in the final, but they are not going to get it. There we go. Excellent. Congratulations. We are through to the final. I hope it tells us straight away how the final works. So we're going to be playing Lutterworth by the looks of it. But is that a one match? Or see, we're actually getting money for this as well. Domter was injured. We actually get some money for that. O'Rourke with another very good performance. 2 goals and an assist. But have we got the final? Oh, there you go. We do have the final. But we don't know. I'm just going to hit continue once just to see if it announces the final. So, there you go. Does it say where it's going to be? Boundary Park. Boundary Park's a real football ground, isn't it? Oldham's ground. Why are we going all the way up to Oldham? That seems weird. Why would they not play that at London Road, for example? A ground local to the teams that are in it. Why have we got to go all the way to Oldham? We'll probably share a bus. And hopefully pick up a piece of silver. And that's what we'll do in tomorrow's episode. In fact, what we'll do is Lutterworth and Blackstones, and that'll probably be it for the season, unless we start to bottle it and Blackstones beat us and there's a chance we won't get promoted. And we'll probably do Lutterworth and Blackstones as our final 2 matches of the season and then jump into the transfers the day after. So if you have enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.